This video is brought to you by Chubbies. Go to chubbyshorts.com and use code Dan Murrell to get 20% off your order, and stay tuned after the video for more info. Hello everybody, and welcome to my recap of the Golden Globes 2025. This is the first video that I'm shooting in the new year, and I'm a little later than I often am on my recaps for award shows because I was traveling back from visiting friends in California into the night last night, so it was a late night of watching and then getting up today and getting this ready. But it's really never too late to talk about Hollywood's biggest night if you discount 6 or 7 other nights of the year. And overall, when we talk about the Golden Globes, there were 2 moments last night that I think really captured the chaotic energy that you often see at the show. One of them is this quote from Kieran Culkin's acceptance speech for Best Supporting Actor in A Real Pain.
I'm feeling a little... My wife and I did a shot of tequila with Mario Lopez.
And the other one was during the presentation of the Box Office and Cinematic Achievement Award, which between Barbie winning last year and Wicked meaning this year, it's pretty much solidified as the Golden Globes saying, hey, we're not going to give you a real award, but we want to put you on TV anyway. The award this year was presented by Vin Diesel, who walked out on stage mere steps away from his blood rival, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and made the most out of the moment.
Hey, Dwayne.
Now, let me tell you from experience, I have been in that room for a different award show, and as small as it looks on television, it's actually much, much smaller in reality. I would estimate that Dwayne Johnson was no more than 3 strides away from Vin Diesel, and had The Rock had maybe 1 or 2 more shots of Terramana, I think that we could have had a Golden Globes throwdown that would have made everyone say, Will Smith who? I mean, we had the makings of a legendary moment there. Now, that didn't happen because The Rock protects his career, I think, above all things, but the producers of the show, whoever it was that put this together, they had to know what they were doing. And it just solidifies the Globes as Hollywood's messiest award show. So to whoever came up with the idea of putting Vin Diesel and The Rock in an impromptu stare down, I say to you, bravo, because a Real Housewives moment like that truly belongs on, well, Bravo. Nikki Glazer hosted the show this year and did, I think, a lot better than last year's sacrificial lamb, Joe Coy. I mean, he was really just sent out to slaughter. She didn't have the sharpness of a Ricky Gervais, but I think that some of her jokes had some edge to them, at least.
He's nominated for Peacock's The Day of the Jackal, yes. It's about a top secret elite sniper that no one can find because he's on Peacock.
I also appreciated her reference to the now famous Holding Space junket interview for Wicked.
I'm scared. Ariana, hold my finger. Thank you. Thank you.
And I think that generally she did what a good host does, which is that you come out, you deliver a monologue, get some laughs, and then you slowly recede into the background over the course of the evening. I was a little worried when she went into her popular song parody, but that was redeemed a bit by the fact that the joke of the bit was that it was, in fact, a terrible bit. They also gave out some awards last night, and the Golden Globes is often considered one of the precursors, I guess that's the name that's been given to it, to the Academy Awards, a place where people might look for guidance as to what the race is doing. But if you were looking to the Globes to clarify anything last night for the Oscars, I think it muddied the water a lot more than it cleared things up. Emilia Perez won 4 Golden Globes, and you'd think that the winner of the most awards would have its name pronounced properly.
Emilia Perez, yes.
Emilia Perez.
Emilia Perez.
I said Emilia Perez at first when it came out and was corrected, and rightfully so, because the accent mark is right there. It's Emilia Perez, but nobody seemed to care about that, so, you know, I guess the international flair of the Golden Globes only goes so far. The movie won the award for Best Musical or Comedy, Best Film Not in the English Language, Best Original Song, and as expected, Best Supporting Actress for Zoe Saldana's lead role in the movie. The Golden Globes are often seen as a dry run for what you might see at the Oscars, and Saldana's big, tearful acceptance speech, complete with shouting down the playoff music, is exactly what Oscar voters want on their show. I think that she was already pretty locked in the supporting actress race. This was one place where I think the Globes just just put things into stone because you want those big moments on your awards show, and Oscar voters do watch the Globes. A lot of people say, well, it's not much of an overlap in the voters, so I don't know how instructive it is as to what the Oscars might do, but the voters do watch the show, and I think a lot of them saw Saldana win last night, saw her emotional acceptance speech, and said, yeah, you know what? We want that on our show. Is that a dumb reason to give an award? Well, sure, but there are lots of dumb reasons that Hollywood gives out awards. Carla Sofia Gascon did not win an award for her performance, but did deliver a meaningful speech when the film won Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy.
I am who I am. Know who you want. Thank you so much.
And I feel like Emilia Perez is turning into a gladiator-type movie for me, in that I liked it. I think it's a good movie, but the more it wins these big awards, the more it makes me look like a hater. That's where I was with the first Gladiator movie. I thought it was good, but as it steamed toward Best Picture, I became known as the guy who hates Gladiator, which I didn't. I thought that Zoe Saldana was great in it. I thought the performances were good, but it really does seem to be one of those films that didn't blow away critics. I mean, it's well received, but not rapturously received, but seems to have a main demographic of awards season voters. I mean, it's doing very, very well, and this could well be, I hate to bring this name in lightly, a movie like Green Book, which could go on to win Best Picture despite not being necessarily the critical favorite of the year, but connecting with the right people. The Brutalist, which was a fairly late arrival on the award scene, picked up 3 awards for Best Picture Drama, Best Director for Brady Corbet, and Best Actor for Adrian Brody. Those are 3 pretty big awards, and they all came with their own impressive speeches. I was much higher on The Brutalist than I was Emilia Perez. The Brutalist was number 2 on my personal list of movies for 2024. But as Brady Corbet pointed out in his final speech, it's also a 3.5-hour long movie about a mid-century architect. I will be curious to see how it connects with the Oscar voters and if it could be a legitimate contender along with Emilia Perez, or if we're going to see other movies rise up in the race. I tend to think that it's still fairly wide open, especially in the Best Picture race, because every movie has its own camp of people that are detractors and camp of people that really, really like it. My 2 favorite wins of the night were in the lead acting categories for Best Musical or Comedy. Best Male Actor went to Sebastian Stan for A Different Man, which was another movie on my top 10 list. And I think Sebastian Stan should be a lock for a Best Actor nomination at the Oscars. He was great in A Different Man. He was great in The Apprentice. And I think it's kind of criminal that he is currently, if you look at all the prognostications, on the outside looking in, because he should be up for at least one of those movies. And so while the Globe may not mean much for his Oscar chances, I'm glad it at least raises his profile and gave him an opportunity to speak about the fact that, you know, movies like A Different Man and movies like The Apprentice, maybe people aren't so eager to talk about them, but that doesn't mean that they're not important. I also love Demi Moore winning for The Substance, my personal #1 movie of 2024. She has gone from long shot Oscar contender to, I think, definitively in the running. And based on her speech, I think that she may actually be a threat to win.
You will never be enough, but you can know the value of your worth if you just put down the measuring stick.
One point of correction, though, she said in her speech that she'd never won anything for her acting, but I think that she's overlooking the fact that back in 1994, she was the winner of the prestigious MTV Movie Award for Best Kiss. And before you laugh at that, there's actually a pretty healthy list of Oscar winners who have won the MTV Award for Best Kiss. Gwyneth Paltrow, Will Smith, Marissa Tomei, Jennifer Lawrence, Heath Ledger. I think that we should be adding MTV's Best Kiss into the precursors for the Oscar race, because there are also a lot of nominees who haven't won that also picked up that award. Demi Moore's win means that Mikey Madison and Anora, who's long been considered the frontrunner in the Oscar race, did not pick up the award. And I've been saying all award season that being the frontrunner that early on can be a blessing and a curse. Sometimes the momentum can take you to the win, but sometimes people want a fresher face, a fresher story. And it seems like Demi Moore is one of those. Nicole Kidman is another one. I'm not saying that Mikey Madison isn't going to win, but it does look like she has much more competition than a lot of people thought just 2 or 3 weeks ago. Anora actually walked away completely empty-handed, which was a surprise for me. It appeared to fall victim to Emilia Perez's domination in the musical or comedy category, and I'm going to be curious to see if Oscar voters follow suit, if it loses a little bit of strength. There were also a couple of legitimate shock wins. Fernanda Torres won Best Female Actor in a Drama for her performance in I'm Still Here, which is a very good film from Brazil, and she's legitimately great in it. I was actually very happy to see her win. It was a strong category of nominees. The Golden Globes are often known for having a bit more of an international flair, and we saw that again last night. I think this does boost her visibility for a long shot Oscar run for Best Actress. Another international film, Flow, won the Best Animated Feature Award, upsetting the biggest animated studio hits of the year. This is another movie that I enjoyed. It's very unconventional. Should it seize momentum and go on to become the frontrunner or even win the Best Animated Feature Oscar, that'll make it 2 years in a row that the Best Animated Feature Academy Award has gone to an international film following The Boy and the Herons win last year. So we'll see if that flow momentum keeps going, get that flow-mo going. I also loved that Harrison Ford just eventually pushed Anthony Mackie out of the way to present the award. He had no patience for the tomfoolery that was going on. Was it scripted or was it real? Doesn't matter. It's Harrison Ford. There were a couple of more expected wins. Kieran Culkin won Best Supporting Actor for his co-lead role in A Real Pain, and was very Kieran Culkin, as always, in his speech. I also want to give a shout out to Jeremy Strong, who was on hand as a fellow nominee, wearing a very stylish velvet bucket hat ensemble. Conclave also won the award for Best Screenplay. The Globes don't divide the award between adapted and original, but I think that this does put Conclave in the driver's seat for the Best Adapted Screenplay Academy Award. That may be the movie's biggest win. Overall, Emilia Perez and The Brutalist were the only films with multiple wins at the Golden Globes. Challengers picked up a Golden Globe for Best Original Score for Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, which seemed to really excite Elton John.
Trent Reznor and Adam.
But some films with multiple nominations that walked away with nothing included Anora, The Wild Robot, A Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Gladiator 2, and All We Imagine Is Light. Overall, as I said, I think this blurred the picture for the Oscars more than it sharpened it. I mean, we already knew that The Brutalist and Emilia Perez were serious contenders. Maybe this strengthens their position here or there. Maybe strengthens Adrian Brody in the Best Actor race. I think that the Best Actress race is now completely wide open. I have no idea not only who's going to win, but who's even going to be nominated in that category right now. And then Emilia Perez is an interesting question because based on the strength of its wins last night, you could say that it is the Oscar frontrunner maybe for Best Picture, but I'm not convinced that it's going to be as strong with the Academy as it was with the Golden Globes. And should it slip a little bit, then I think that it is truly a wide open race for Best Picture. Maybe The Brutalist could be considered a frontrunner, but this is a very interesting year because after a couple of years with Oppenheimer and Everything Everywhere All at Once, where it seemed like, a fait accompli as to who was going to win, I think there's some big question marks this year, which I'm happy about. The TV awards were much more predictable than the film side. It was essentially a rerun of the Emmys, which we already saw last year. Shogun won 4 awards, leading all TV shows, including Best Series Drama, Best Male and Best Female Actor in a Drama, and Best Supporting Actor in a TV Show. I'm saying Shogun because Hiroyuki Sanada said Shogun. That's how he pronounced it, and I'm just going to take his word on that one. Yes, some people in the comments said you should say it that way anyway, but I'm going with the way that the star and the producer of the show says it. When they were announcing Sonata's category, a technical glitch made it appear that Gary Oldman played not just himself in Slow Horses, but also Eddie Redmayne and Hiroyuki Sanada, although he is that good. So the question remains, is Gary Oldman actually all of those people? I was happy to see Tadanobu Asano win in the supporting category. He lost to Billy Crudup at the Emmys, so he gets his flowers in a nice awards moment. Hacks, and I'm not insulting actors here, I mean the show Hacks won 2 awards, including Best TV Series Comedy and Best Female Actor in a Comedy Series for Jean Smart. It appears that the Bears' chokehold on a category that it doesn't belong in is slipping a little bit, although Jeremy Allen White did win for Best Male Actor in a Comedy or Musical, although he was not present to accept the award. Baby Reindeer joined Hacks and Shogun as the only other TV show with multiple wins for Best Supporting Actress and Best Limited Series, Anthology, or TV Movie, which is a nice cherry on top of its unexpected success. The Penguin lost in the Limited Series category, but Colin Farrell won the Best Actor award, and he did something very smart, which is that he thanked the craft services person on set.
Carolina! On those cold winter nights in New York where I was the only one overheating, she'd be there with a coconut water.
If you've ever worked on a set or been on a set, you know that the one person that A, everybody knows, and B, nobody wants to piss off is the craft services person because they literally control the amount and quality of the food that you get. Plus, it's just nice to see a star of a show shout out somebody like the craft services people because they are as essential to running the show as just about any other crew member. Jodie Foster won Best Female Actor in a Limited Series for her performance in True Detective Night Country. The intro to that category also featured Seth Rogen and Catherine O'Hara using the term moose knuckle way more than I ever thought I would hear on live television.
The Moose Knuckles trilogy.
Oh my God. Moose Knuckles 2 was a massive hit.
Oh yes, Moose Knuckles 2, Knuckles Deep.
And Ali Wong won for Best Stand-Up Comedy Performance after winning an acting award last year for her performance on the limited series Beef. She now joins Ricky Gervais as the only two recipients of that award so far. Overall, I think that this is a perfectly acceptable standard Golden Globe show. It has a reputation for either having breakout moments, like when Ricky Gervais was hosting, or being a complete disaster, like we largely saw last year. And for a show that's still trying to get its feet back under it, I think being an acceptable show, non-remarkable in a good or a bad way, is a win for the Golden Globes. Maybe not for the ratings, but definitely for the show. I do kind of wish that The Rock and Vin Diesel had an on-stage showdown, at least a stare down. But even though that didn't happen, I think the show also had that Golden Globes nuttiness, that craziness to it, which was encapsulated, I think, best when Nikki Glazer was recapping who had been mentioned on stage so far about halfway through the show.
God, creator of the universe, 0 mentions. And Mario Lopez, host of Access Hollywood, 1.
So those are my thoughts on the Golden Globes. What do you think? Did you even bother to watch? Do you think it has any kind of a consequence as far as the Academy Awards? Let me know down in the comments below. And before we go, I want to thank the sponsor for this video. This video is brought to you by Chubbies. The holidays are over and winter has set in, at least it has in my snowy little town, and this is the perfect time to kick back, relax, and lounge around the house while recovering from all that holiday craziness. And Chubbies is here for that because they don't just make great shorts and swimsuits, they also make great pants, like their everywhere pants. I've been wearing them a lot lately because they combine the comfort of sweatpants with the look of not being judged for wearing sweatpants all the time. And if your New Year's resolution is to hit the gym, Chubbies also makes great ultimate training shorts with split side seams and an extended liner to make sure that your 2 to 4 weeks of working out will be comfortable and luxurious. Heck, they may even keep you in the gym until Valentine's Day. And don't forget that Chubbies also has NFL gear for the postseason featuring playoff teams like the Bills, Buccaneers, Chiefs, Eagles, Steelers, Vikings, Lions, and Broncos, with all the teams coming later this year. Chubbies is here to help you take on 2025 in style, starting with the comfiest, most versatile gear you've ever worn. For a limited time, our friends at Chubbies are giving viewers and listeners of the show 20% off with the promo code Dan Murrell at checkout at chubbyshorts.com. That's 20% off your order with the promo code Dan Murrell. And don't forget to support the show and tell them that I sent you. No matter where the new year takes you, Chubbies has the gear to keep you comfortable and looking your best. Thanks to Chubbies for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching. Be sure to stay tuned right here. I'll be back tomorrow with Charts with Dan, and then more movie news, reviews, box office, all the stuff that we do as we go into 2025. Thanks so much for watching this video. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.